A hacker group has released more than a terabyte of data from Disney's internal Slack channels. We've got a lawyer here to help us understand whether or not it's legal for us to go through it. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter from That Park Place, and joining me today is VashSky. He's looking very astute and scholarly today. Actually, no, this is Ron Coleman, the legendary Ron Coleman, who we are blessed to have on the channel today. Ron, how are you doing?
I'd like to know what the legends are that people are telling about me, because
I've heard tell that you argued a case before the Supreme Court and it went in your favor.
That is legendary. That I can agree.
And also you said there ought to be a bar here, and they built one. And then at the end of the evening, you took a match to it and it went to the ground, and you said, well, you better leave things how they were.
Well, the stories they tell about me.
Either way, you're also the lawyer of record for That Park Place, and also an
right.
excellent...
And I figured out what you're doing. You're going to have me do this segment, and thereby I'm not going to send you a bill for the legal advice.
Oh, that's a very good point. Actually, Pro and I have talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to get a legal second opinion, and when that second opinion...
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not really giving legal advice to That Park Place, because if I were to do so in front of all of you, that would vitiate the attorney-client privilege. So we're going to speak in very general terms.
Oh, that's a very good point, and now I have to release this video for that reason. Let's go over here to the Wall Street Journal. Internal Disney communications leaked online after hack. This by Sarah Krause and Robert McMillan. Right there, I'm not thinking there's much data in that water tower there, but let's add a little context here for those who don't know what's going on. Data from Disney's internal Slack workplace collaboration system have been leaked online, including discussions about ad campaigns, studio technology, and interview candidates, according to files viewed by the Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal is confirming that they have had some kind of access to this information. An anonymous hacking group that calls itself nullbulge said in a blog post that it published data from thousands of Slack channels at the entertainment company, including computer code and details about unreleased projects. Slack is largely used within large companies for group communications about strategic initiatives. The group claims about the scope of the documents taken and how it obtained them couldn't immediately be verified. Material viewed by the Journal includes conversations about maintaining Disney's corporate website, software development, assessments of candidates for employment, programs for emerging leaders within ESPN, photos of employees' dogs with data stretching back to 2019. Ron, which of these do you think is the most dangerous for the company, considering the current lawsuits that are brewing against them? Probably
personnel.
I would say so. Assessments.
I mean, this is raw speculation. For all I know, the most dangerous thing, it could be their DoorDash orders. There's really no way to know.
Well, depending on what you can get on DoorDash these days, emerging leaders within ESPN and candidates for employment, those are probably of direct consideration by some cases that are coming forward. The entertainment giant's business spans movies, streaming service, Disney Plus, Hulu, theme parks. We all know that about Disney if you're here. Nullbulge posted screenshots of documents online that it claimed to have obtained from the Slack channels. Nullbulge said that they were excerpts of project descriptions and plans, as well as visit booking and revenue data from Disneyland Paris. So this to me, I'm just going to say it. It seems like it's kind of a nothing burger here, and this contemplates the reasons for the hack and things like that, and how it possibly happened. The question that I want to ask you, Ron, because you are a genius.
I hate when people say that, because it's true and it's embarrassing.
Well, you hate to have people point out the obvious. I mean,
that's also true.
The question that I have for you is, can we access this information and go through it and report on everything in it and be free of consequence as journalists? Or is it only a protected class? Is it only a paper of record that can do something like this? Or can we only talk about those who
you're asking a nuanced question. So in other words, your understanding, which is the correct one, is that if we were the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, the New York Post, I'm using my New York-centric media basket, you understand correctly that would be fine. But what if you're just a blogger? What if you're just a vlogger? What if you're a podcaster? I would say that there's no difference whatsoever. No difference whatsoever. especially an established channel like yours, where you have a beat, you actually make a living from this. You're not merely an amateur. I have argued, and I've been involved in cases, and I've actually even written an article on the topic of the application of laws protecting journalists to online or citizen journalists. And unfortunately, there are laws in some states that do tend to ask the judge to see what is the nature of the enterprise. My argument is journalism is something you do, not something you are. A phrase that I got from the great law professor Glenn Reynolds of Instapundit fame. I think that my argument would carry the day, but that you wouldn't even need it, because you guys are, again, you're not casual social media users, you're not TikTokers. Once the information is out there, you have had nothing to do with the acquisition of the information. You have not in any way induced the unlawful, which this does seem to be an unlawful hack or leak, acquisition of the information. Now it's out there. You have every right. You have the same rights to report on it as a member of the so-called established press or the corporate or regime press.
Now, first of all, that is wonderful to hear, and I'm not trying to push for us to cover this in particular. I mean that when I say this is most likely a nothing burger. Internal Slack communications, there could be something spicy here or there, although, the James O'Keefe thing comes to mind, where the second video in particular says more about the guy in the video than I think it did about Disney itself and his proclivities and his, we'll say the word prejudices, if that's the word we want to say.
Yeah, I don't think James does that a lot. I mean, he has to come up with something. He has to justify what he does. And sometimes what he does is sensational. I didn't find anything like you in his Disney stuff all that enlightening. You saw a lot of guys who are in a position of making excuses for where they are in their careers, probably in their lives as well. Mm-hmm. And those excuses are plausible. They're plausible because they corroborate, apparently, everything we've observed about the organization from the outside. But
well, the best rationalizations are just that. Now, the other question I have is, say an organization, a website, an up and coming website that likes to cover theme parks, entertainment, business, and things like that, or perhaps the YouTube channel that accompanies it. Completely hypothetical. If someone chose to try to intimidate them, would reporting on the contents of a leak like this open them up to, let's say, lawfare more than actual legal ramifications?
Well, possibly, but it's really unlikely. I mean, we had the Black Girl Gamers situation, which was pretty much a little taste of that. And when you push back and you have, someone authoritative and experienced pushing back for you, that kind of stuff really tends to go away. We are still talking about pretty small targets and pretty small issues, even though Disney, in theory, is that you're saying, but Ron, nothing small about Disney. Now, Disney's not going to come after you on a real lawsuit. If they did in California, what a mistake that would be. That would be a strategic lawsuit against public participation, and they'd be paying your attorney's fees.
That would be excellent. Anyways, with that being said, I think I want to throw this to our commenters here and wonder about the winking conversation that we have just had here. What website could we be talking about? Who knows? Speculate in the comment section down below.
Theory, right.
Well, with that out of the way, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here on That Park Place. If you haven't yet, of course, subscribe to That Park Place. But more importantly, go check out Ron Coleman's YouTube channel. He is a resource like no other. And of course, you can check out the conversations there that he is having on his channel. He has an Interesting Persons podcast that he does that has, of course, featured people that you might know, like Andrew from The Legal Mindset, or, of course, Valiant Renegade. Maybe I'll get over there one of these days. Of course, drop your comments in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.